Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tales from the Fandom, the podcast that brings a special guest out of the multiverse and straight to you. Today's episode is brought to you by In the Reads. In the Reads provides beautiful, affordable artwork of the vibrant worlds found within your favorite books, TV, and films. From all wood bookmarks featuring illustrations and quotes from such fandoms as Star Wars, The Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Outlanders, and more, to fantasy and real-life maps drawn in the style of Tolkien. Go to inthereads.com and check out what is available. Like something? Use code TALES10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. A link will be in the show notes along with the code. And now, let's get to the episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Tales from the Fandom. Today, I am joined with Colleen Cosplay on Instagram. Colleen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. We have a great episode set up for you today. We're talking about something that I'm not familiar with, something I really love, and then cosplay at the end. And we're going to dive in first, which is Supergirl. Now, you've read the comics. You're a comic person, not the TV show Supergirl. How did you get into Supergirl?
Oh, wow. So I have been big into DC Comics. I feel like it was really one of my first fandoms. I watched the cartoons as a kid. They had the Justice League Unlimited cartoons. Loved those. And then when I got into around high school, I discovered comic books. Loved comic books. I really kind of deep dived into the DC Comics universe. And the origin story of Supergirl is actually not what people have expected. So I got into cosplaying Supergirl really just because I found the fabric on sale. Which everyone expects a bigger revelation story. Everyone wants me to say how I read the comics and instantly connected with her. But truth of the matter is that they had the Yaya Han red ribbed power stretch fabric, which is, you don't really have to know what that is, just that it's very nice and is very expensive fabric. And I found it for 60% off, and I needed about 7 yards to make a huge Supergirl cape. And when I saw that fabric on sale, I'm like, oh, this is perfect for Supergirl. I had been doing Batgirl for years, but I hadn't done Supergirl yet, so that would just check that off my list. So I started making the costume, and after I made the costume, I enjoyed being Supergirl so much that it kind of worked backwards in a way where I really started delving further into the comics and getting into some of the different series and storylines of Supergirl, whereas before I had just kind of, seen her in her collaboration issues. I had 1 or 2 graphic novels, but now it's a shelf. I have a shelf of Supergirl books, and it's all just because that fabric was on clearance.
That is, I could only call that something like Kismet. It's just, the forces at work just made it happen.
Yeah, they really did. And the Supergirl cosplay really took off on my YouTube channel, actually. It's really part of how my YouTube channel even got off the ground at all. I felt like I spent forever in the under 100 subscriber purgatory, and Supergirl was one of the cosplays that kind of got me out of that. So, there was just a lot of really good things happening with Supergirl. A lot of people just started relating that cosplay to me, so I just kept making more Supergirl cosplays and reading more Supergirl comics, and I just got deeper and deeper, and now I must have 5 or 6 Supergirl costumes.
Oh my goodness. I know that there are people out there that, they focus on a singular character, and they just every costume, every outfit, and that's really awesome that Supergirl is yours.
Definitely. I love her outfits. They're bright, they're colorful. Between the different series, they change up enough. Whereas before, I was really doing a lot of Batgirl, and all of her costumes are just black and they don't change as much. But I love Supergirl's costumes. She has so many to pick from, and honestly, I just feel super confident in those cosplays. I feel great. I think I look great, and then I just go and buy more comics and find another costume, and the cycle just kind of keeps repeating.
Now, as far as Supergirl goes as a character, what draws you to her? Like, what is the thing that was like, okay, I'm hooked on not just like the outfits, but now you're devouring all these comics.
Yeah, the thing with Supergirl is a lot of people kind of see her as just super strong, like, no problems. She just can punch everything out of the way. I think a lot of people kind of equate her to Wonder Woman, who is a super strong. But the thing is, Supergirl is like a hot mess. She truly is. She's in an unfamiliar place. She doesn't know the language. She is just a walking time bomb because she doesn't understand her strength. She's just a hot mess. And I can relate to that. I feel like they have found a way to make a character that is really extremely overpowered also be very, very relatable, because they've created a lot of really relatable struggles in the comics. And that's why I love Supergirl so much. Whereas I've just never really felt that connection with Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman just feels strong and confident and powerful, and like she has struggles too, but it's not like Supergirl. Like Supergirl is just, wow, she really struggles a lot in the earlier comics.
Okay. With Supergirl, I'm not like a DC person, right? Like I'll see Supergirl on the animated series or the TV show. If you would recommend a comic book to like get started with Supergirl, where would you point people?
If you're getting started with DC Comics as a whole, then I think starting at the start of one of their reboots would be good. I started at the start of the New 52 reboot, which a lot of people actually hated, but that was just the first one that I ever experienced, so I have some sort of like nostalgia attached to it. I felt like they actually did a pretty good job introducing the characters. But if you're getting into a new universe like DC or Marvel, definitely start at the start of a reboot. The latest one was DC Rebirth, but I got in at the New 52. My favorite Supergirl comic, which I feel like does fairly good as a standalone, is called Killers of Krypton, and that's a graphic novel. And it's really focused on Supergirl, and she has a lot of feelings of grief, and she's looking for revenge over, the death of Krypton. And she's kind of struggling with if she really wants to be the good guy. Like, she's been through all this hard stuff. She's lost so much. Like, does she want to be the good guy, or does she want to get revenge for all the pain she's felt? And it's really a story that focuses more on Supergirl than a lot of the other heroes in the comics, so I feel like it's pretty good standalone if you just know some of the basic DC Comics characters. So that one has been my favorite, and I have cosplayed from that one too.
Okay. Now, with Supergirl, I know that you had mentioned in your email to me that you feel like she's super misunderstood, but that the creators have worked really hard to make her relatable to normal people. I know, like, on the flip side, that like that's an issue that sometimes Superman has. Like, people see Superman and they're like, I can't relate to him, even though they try hard to make him normal.
Yeah, I definitely think they've kind of tried to do the same thing with Superman and Supergirl. It's just, I feel like Supergirl came across as way more relatable because she's a teenager. I mean, technically she's like, 100 years old or whatever, I don't know. Technically she's much older, but in the comics, the way that the ages work with her being suspended or whatever, she's a teenager. Basically, she's written as a teenager. And so I felt like that just came off as a lot more relatable, whereas with Superman being like an adult with a job and responsibilities, that was much harder to relate to, especially getting into comics as a teenager. It was just harder for me to relate to, like, Superman trying to make it on time to his job while saving the day. I was just like, well, can't really relate. But then there's, like, Supergirl being super self-conscious about how other people perceive her, and I'm like, that I can relate to.
Yeah, I could imagine that. Like when I got into comics, it was the teenage type characters, whereas like, oh, they're like me. They're in high school, or they're like right out of high school and dealing with like the problems that I'm dealing with.
Yeah, that's a lot of what just made her so, like, I could see so much of myself in Supergirl, which I wasn't expecting. I definitely went into it just thinking it would be just, kind of a nice read, but it was just going to be like she was way too overpowered. I couldn't relate, but I really like it. And she has a lot of internal struggles too, which I think is just really interesting to read through.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that I think that they're finally like adding in more like with current comics, because I've seen it pop up more and more, even though I'm not like a comic collector anymore. It's something that I see on the on Twitter or on Instagram where people are relating more and more to certain characters because they have actual real life things going on versus just they have powers and they do stuff.
I definitely feel like they have taken that path with the Teen Titans too. I mean, they've always been like basically marketed towards teenagers to be relatable, but I definitely feel like, especially with the newer comics, the comics that they're marketing towards young adults and teens honestly feel like really relatable towards that age group. But when you do read the older comics, I mean, like, they're funny. Like, they have definitely a specific sense of humor that can be entertaining, but just aren't really relatable as much as the newer ones.
Just out of curiosity, because I see I'm scrolling on your Instagram and I noticed there's a couple different Supergirl cosplays. Are you pro cape, or are you like Edna Mode on The Incredibles, say like no capes?
So that first Supergirl cosplay I made had a huge cape, right? Like I was saying, like many yards of fabric. It's very heavy, and I love the look of the cape toss. That cape created some of the most gorgeous photos and some of my favorite photos to this day, but wearing it was not as great. It's so big that if you're walking through a door and shut the door behind you, like, the cape will get stuck in the door. So I had to kind of pass through the door and then wait for like the 7 yards to swoosh through and then shut the door. So I loved that cape, but I'm done with it now. And I have a much smaller cape. So I wore that really big cape back when I was able to walk around conventions a little bit better. Since then, I've had a disability that progressed to the point that I'm now using a wheelchair at cons, and that big cape will not work with a wheelchair. Like, I can imagine few things worse than getting a cape stuck in a wheelchair. So I've actually made another cape since then that fits pretty much perfectly between the wheelchair wheels and also snaps onto a harness that is strapped around my chest. So then if it should pull on anything, it's not pulling on my neck and strangling me to death. So now that I've developed a much safer cape, one that's much more wheelchair accessible. The old cape that you see in a lot of my pictures from back when I was just using crutches or walking around, I'm kind of done with that. I loved it. It had its time, but we're done. So, it's hard for me to just say no capes at all. I love a good cape swoosh. I love a good cape swoosh. I guess I'm taking the middle ground of reasonably sized capes. I want capes that don't get stuck in the door, that you're not gonna get strangled to death on, but are still big enough that you can get a nice cape flip-in photo. Something like reasonable, like maybe 3 yards of fabric.
No killer capes.
Yeah, that first cape I made, it was gorgeous. I love it. It's gorgeous, but wow, there were so many things that Cape would get stuck on, and I had it just clasped right around my neck. So if it got stuck in a door, it literally was like that scene from The Incredibles.
Now, before we switch off of Supergirl, what's one thing that I think, or what's one thing that people might not know about Supergirl that you'd love for them to know?
I feel like pretty much what I just said about her being misunderstood. Also, to like read the comics, I have run into a lot of people who just watch the show, which is fine. You can enjoy fandom however you want. That's great. But people who have watched the show and want more Supergirl, I definitely recommend the comics. I feel like the Supergirl comics are some of the ones that have been better done throughout DC Comics. I've really enjoyed pretty much all the different reboots of Supergirl. I feel like they've stayed really true to her character throughout the comics. It feels a lot more continuous than some of the other comic series I've read. So I guess just that I feel like the Supergirl comics are a bit of a hidden gem, in my opinion, in the comics world. And if you are someone who, you know, enjoys Supergirl and actually like wants to get in more into it, if that's something you're interested in, definitely check out the comics. But also, there's no right way to enjoy fandom. So, I mean, you don't have to, but I think they're cool.
Well, and that hits the nail on the head. There's no right way to enjoy fandom. As long as you enjoy it, you know, go forth.
I definitely agree.
I think you may be the first person that I've ever talked about this series to. I know I talked about it like on an episode where I was just talking alone by myself and just ranting about how people need to watch this show. But in 2020, there was a series that was released on Netflix. It was based off of a 2015 webcomic, and I feel that people need to watch it. And they slept on it, they missed on it. It's called Kipo and the Age of Wonderbeasts. And if you haven't watched it, stop the podcast, go watch it, come back. But how did you get into Kipo? Like, because, you know, Netflix is notorious with not advertising things sometimes.
So Kipo actually, like, so if you watch She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, I feel like Netflix kind of has you pegged as someone who would also like Kipo. And I loved She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, and I feel like Kipo has a lot of the same sort of vibes, like animation style. Oh, Kipo does have the same voice actor as Glimmer from She-Ra. That was it, yes. Too. I think I just looked up like, oh, Glimmer is in this. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is a hidden gem. Drop everything. Like, this is actually really, really good. So yeah, it was just through Netflix looking around, but my interest was initially piqued by getting into She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
Yeah, that's the one thing where Netflix is like, oh, well, you've watched this. Here, try like the next 10 things that we've also made, but you haven't heard of.
Yeah.
I know that we had started watching She-Ra as a family, like one of our family shows. So we'd sit down and watch it with the kids. And when Kipo came out, it was like, holy cow, like this is so wonderful. Like not just the animation style and not just the voice acting, but the story, it's something that really like I haven't seen before. And the music. I love the music in the show.
I love the music too.
Yeah, it is so incredible. And then you also have these characters that you get quickly attached to, and you know, strong female protagonist along with like the characters that are around her. Again, like you have like Wolf, who is another massively strong female character. And Benson, love him. Totally out as a gay character, and it's just natural. It's just like, okay, you know what? I like you as a friend, but I'm gay.
Yeah, no, I love so much about that show, and I definitely judged it a little bit when I first started watching it because it was like, I don't know, like giant mutant animals. Like, I don't know, like that seems like a little too far out there. But then I actually started watching it for the characters, you know? And oh, I am so glad I did. It is so good. The way they did the characters, their personalities are great. And I just love how they took the concept of a dystopian society, like a society that has truly fallen apart and people have moved underground. They took that and they somehow made it bright and happy and colorful. And I've not seen anything quite like it, where they have, you know, kind of started the show in such a horrible state of things. And then this protagonist comes in and is just like, by the way, everyone is my friend. This person that's trying to eat me, also my friend. You want to kill me? You're now my friend. And just having a character that truly sees the best in everyone. And it like came off as like, that's just who Kipo is. Like, that's just who she is. It didn't come off as like fake or anything. Like that's just who she is. She truly sees the best in everyone. Oh, I love it. I love the characters. Oh, love the whole show.
That is one thing that I love, is that the approach to a lot of the, as you said, like the people that are trying to kill Kipo or capture Kipo, like, Kipo's just like, hey, let's try to work it out. Let's talk. Let's figure things out. And it's something where you're watching it and you're like, what are you doing? Why aren't you like fleeing or like fighting back? And the way that they set it up over the 3 seasons just makes a great payoff at the end.
Yeah, they did a really good job. I mean, starting it off, you kind of think like, oh gosh, she's not going to last long, and she runs into Wolf, who has lived on the surface, who truly believes they are living in a dystopia where they absolutely will be eaten, and having the contrasting viewpoints of the world from Kipo and Wolf's perspectives, and then having Kipo approach that and say, no, we're gonna be friends, and have it actually work a lot of the time is just, wow, it's amazing. And then to kind of finish it up with the last season, sorry, spoilers ahead, but in the last season, you know, she's really truly saved pretty much every antagonist, but with the very last antagonist, she just like can't really save her. And I think that also speaks volumes too, that she, you know, tries so hard to be friends with everyone, and it worked so great with Scarlemagne, who's the first main antagonist, but when she gets to the evil doctor lady, she just truly can't save her with the power of friendship. And I mean, it says a lot about Kipo's journey and, you know, what she can do, and, you know, coming to terms with what she can't and being grateful for what she has. I just love it. It's so well done.
It absolutely is. And one of the things I love, not only with like the show itself, but with the friendships that the characters maintain, like Kipo and Wolf, Benson and Dave, and like those, like the way that they interact, like individually with each other, but then as a group, is just like, just seeing that journey that they've gone on together is just, it's akin to like She-Ra and her Princesses of Power, or the Avatar group, or Steven Universe and the Gems, and it's just wonderful.
It is. And also like the way their personalities work off each other, that they all get kind of paired up differently later. And you can tell that Benson and Wolf don't really see eye to eye at the start, but kind of watching them like grow to trust each other, and watching Wolf even grow to trust Dave, who is a mute, which she originally thought were all out to get her, and just watching like all those relationships develop until at the end they really do feel like a team Avatar. They really do.
Oh, absolutely. And Dave's multiple different versions of himself is something that just cracks me up. Like he's gearing up for a fight, and then it's like poof, nope, old Dave.
Oh, I love it. That show is just so creative. I truly have not seen anything like Kipo before. Nothing quite like it.
It's one of those shows where I wish that they had released like physical CDs, because I like that soundtrack is so good. Like I just want it on repeat sometimes, where it's like just bringing me back to the episodes.
Yeah, the with the music and also like the animation, it's honestly so calming. Like it is so relaxing to me. If I'm having like a day that I need to just lay on the couch and rest, it's kind of like my go-to comfort show. There are a lot of shows out there that can be comforting, but like She-Ra and the Princesses of Power gets into like some pretty deep stuff, so, like some heavy stuff that makes you cry. And Kipo kind of does too, but the music is just, so soothing. There's some really wholesome moments, very cute, and all the mutes are honestly like quite endearing and cute. They're fun. I like them. So it has become my number one comfort show when I just need to like watch something to feel filled.
Oh, that is wonderful. I just have to ask, like, out of curiosity, like, do you have a favorite character, or are you just going to tell me no? Everyone is my favorite.
So, as a cosplayer, I have to tell you who I would cosplay and then my favorite character, because that's how cosplayers divide it. So, I've wanted to cosplay Kipo for a while. I actually bought like a jumpsuit to make her a jumpsuit she wears when she lives underground in the burrow. Haven't gone around to making it yet because the show is like super obscure, and if there's another cosplay I want to make, I usually end up having to put Kipo aside because it's like, I'm gonna love this, but no one else will understand. And then my favorite character is probably Dave. I just think he is the funniest. Like, I don't know, his like really kind of stupid sense of humor, I just think is literally the funniest thing ever.
I think I'm going to have to rewatch the show now because I'm getting a Kipo hankering.
No, I just love Dave. He's just so funny, and the voice acting, amazing. The transformations, hilarious. Like, it's not a super complex form of humor, but I just think it's the funniest thing ever.
It is, and it's situational comedy too. It's because it's just like the wrong time. It's always the wrong time.
Yeah, and Kipo's also a really good show to rewatch too, because there's a lot of foreshadowing also. And being able to watch it a second time, I caught all the foreshadowing. There's a lot of things that like Benson and Dave will mention, and like it relates back to other things. So they've been together for forever, right? Basically. So I feel like they had a lot of inside jokes, and if you watch the show a second time, it's like, it's making sense now. So many, like, the show was just written really, really well that I think it warrants at least one rewatch, if not multiple, just to kind of see the whole storyline fall together and all the different relationships. It's just, I cannot say enough good things about Kipo.
And I will say just, people always like do reviews and they point to reviews a lot. Rotten Tomatoes still has it at 100%, fresh, and 92% from the audience. So,
as they should.
You only have like 30 episodes. They're about 23-ish minutes. It's not a lot of stuff to get through. Please go watch the show, and then let me and Colleen know, so that way we can know that you've watched it. Yes,
I would love that. And it's honestly also a good show to have on while you're like sewing or maybe cooking or something. Like, it's really great show, and the thing is, the plot line isn't so overly complex that you can't do something else while you're watching it. Like, yes, there are a lot of like little hidden Easter eggs or whatever, but the overarching plot of girl in world where everything is trying to eat her, that'll still come across pretty well if you want to watch it while you're cooking or sewing or doing whatever. So I also think it's a good background show if you want it to be.
Oh, I can vouch for that, because I watch a lot of shows in the background, and sometimes it's like, quit distracting me, show. I need to focus on something else. But yeah, Kipo, especially even if you're just listening to it for the music, like, just please watch the show.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I've tried to get people to watch it, and I haven't seen much of a fandom out for it yet, which is part of why I've been hesitant to like dump the money into a cosplay because like of course cosplay whatever you want, go for it, love it. But as someone who gets a lot of serotonin from interactions with people at cons and stuff, it's also like, but I also like want people to understand what I'm cosplaying, and I guess I can't tell everyone at the con they have to watch Kipo, like even if they should. I guess I shouldn't like try and make everyone there watch Kipo. So I still have Kipo on my list of cosplay to dos. But there just always seems to be another character that I also love, and it's just a bit more recognizable. And then Kipo gets pushed back again, and I always tell myself I'm gonna make her one day, but it hasn't happened yet.
All I have to say is Kipo cosplayers assemble. Like, go forth, make cosplay, go around the cons, get people into
please. I don't think I've seen a single Kipo cosplayer. Now, to be fair, it came out, I think, around pandemic times when there weren't... Yeah. A lot of the shows that came out during, like, 2020 really, really missed out in the cosplay scene. Because by the time cons came back, they were kind of old news, and I definitely feel like Kipo falls under that category. I think I would have seen a lot more Kipo cosplayers if there were conventions happening at the time and people were like, you know, cosplaying with the hype of it. But I haven't really seen anyone cosplaying Kipo like at a convention. I mean, there's some people on Instagram, but like not even a lot of people there. Like I want everyone to love this show.
I know, same here. I do follow someone that cosplays Wolf, and it's like I need more of that. Like I need more of that energy from like the mass of people I follow.
Yeah, and the thing is, I thought Kipo was going to get really big because I do feel like it has a lot of the kind of same themes and vibes of She-Ra, and She-Ra got really big. I also cosplay from She-Ra, and I really thought that after She-Ra ended, people would kind of go to Kipo and latch onto that, and I just didn't see it happen, and I don't know why. Like, I'm not sure why the She-Ra people aren't going to watch Kipo. Like, it has a lot of similar themes. I think you'd like it.
I don't know. Maybe I'll go to a con just holding a sign that says, like, please watch Kipo and just walk around all day with that.
Yeah, my compromise on not making a Kipo cosplay was I got a Kipo Ita bag. And I put together a little Ita bag with, like, completely just Kipo pins. Only Kipo. And I attach it to the back of my wheelchair, and that's what I take to cons with me. So when I'm at a con, I have my little Kipo Ito bag with me at all times. So even though I don't have a Kipo cosplay, with every cosplay I wear, I got my little Ita bag on my wheelchair, and like, everybody better see it.
Representing the Kipo.
I have to. I was like, look, if I'm not going to make the cosplay, at least have the wheelchair bag. So if anyone sees it, they can come talk to me about it.
Now, Colleen, we have talked Supergirl and we have talked Kipo, and of course, you know, throughout the conversation, we've been talking cosplay. What is your origin story? Where did you get your start with cosplaying?
Well, I have kind of my origin story and then like the origin of Colleen Cosplay, which actually aren't the same thing, so I'll kind of tell both. So I got into cosplay around like 2012, 2013, back when I was still in high school. I feel like it's a pretty common origin story. Like, my dad took me to a con. He was really into the con scene. And so he took me to a con, and I didn't know what cosplay was. I'd never seen it before. I saw cosplay, and I was immediately like, I want to be cosplaying. Like, I want to do that. And so I want to say from like 2013 to like 2016 or something, so like quite a while, I actually like wasn't super big into cosplay. I just know I wanted to wear one to the event, and my sweet grandma, who I love very much, sewed me a Batgirl costume, and I also had a Flash costume, and I kind of wore those to cons for a few years. But it was mostly just so I could cosplay. I wasn't super into like the community or really much having to do with cosplay at that point. So that's when I started with cosplay, but I wasn't very serious about it. I went to like one con a year. I kind of treated it like Halloween, you know, like you kind of dress up once or twice a year. I didn't really do much with it. But then around, I want to say like 2017, 2018 or so, I got really into it. So for most of my life, I was actually really into athletics. I owned a horse and I did horse riding like all the time. I actually was a competitive martial artist for a little while. I did cross country, so like my life was consumed by athletics. And that's why I just didn't really care much for cosplay. But I reached a point where my disability had progressed enough that athletics just like it wasn't in the cards for me. I wasn't going to be able to do athletics anymore. So I kind of went through this period in my life where I had to quit a lot of things I didn't want to quit. And it was a really hard time. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was not a great time to be a Colleen. But yeah, I ended up kind of getting rid of athletics and really looking at like the things I had in my life as like, what do you want for a hobby? Like, what can you do that makes you feel happy? And the only thing I could still really physically do was cosplay. So at that point, I kind of went a little crazy, like a little intense, as in start a cosplay YouTube channel and make weekly uploads kind of crazy. So I really just threw myself into the cosplay hobby. I took all the hours and all the energy that I'd thrown into all those athletics combined and threw it into cosplay. I learned how to sew. I learned how to make some armor. I learned a lot in video editing. I got into cosplay contests, and I just really like it. It was probably unhealthy how much I threw into this hobby, but it's been great. Honestly, I've been doing my YouTube channel for over 3 years now. I have probably too many cosplays. I've made quite a few, and I just love the community. I think it's a great community. I love the people I've met through cosplay, and I'm really happy where I am now. So that's kind of the start of Colleen Cosplay.
Okay. Now, you know, you did you have any background at all, like with the sewing or the crafting or anything like that, or was it just like, here's a new thing and I'm going to like just conquer it?
It was a bit of both. My grandma is an amazing seamstress. She's a very powerful seamstress. And we had done like some sewing lessons with her as a kid, but at the time I just truly was not interested because I wanted to be doing athletics and like that was like what I wanted to do with my life. So I had my grandma to kind of help me get started sewing, and I think that's part of how I picked it up so fast is I had like a really great teacher who could teach me how to sew. And everything else I pretty much learned from YouTube. I learned all of my makeup and wig styling from YouTube, all of my foam working for YouTube. I learned how to do YouTube from YouTube. Like, if YouTube starts giving out diplomas, then, like, colleges are going to have a run for their money.
That is the one powerful thing is like, you need to know how to do something, you just look it up on YouTube, and I guarantee there'll be at least like 1 or 2 videos, if not more, on like how to do something.
Yeah, and it's really blown up with cosplay lately. There was a time that like there just weren't a whole lot of cosplay tutorials out there. It was still pretty niche, and now you can pretty much find a tutorial for a specific character most of the time. Like I could look up a tutorial on like how to make Bakugo from My Hero Academia, and you know what? I would literally have a tutorial of how to make cosplay pieces for that specific character. Like the cosplay scene on YouTube has really gotten very big, and you can find tutorials for like basically everything now. And I'm really grateful I did have that kind of like jump start with having my grandma teach me how to sew, but all the other cosplay skills I had to learn from YouTube like everyone else.
Now, when it comes to choosing characters, do you choose based on characters that you connect with, characters that you like the outfit, or is it a combination of both?
Um, yes, but actually, and this is another thing that surprises people, a lot of it has to do with collaborations, actually. I love doing group cosplays. I love doing collaborations with other cosplayers. I love doing like YouTube collabs. So a lot of the times it also just kind of comes down to like my cosplay friends will be like, hey, we're doing a group of these characters. Can you be like this character for our group? And I do a lot of cosplays for that based on collabs. And from there, it is kind of like, do I like the character? Is it a series I'm really into right now? Is it an outfit that I want to make? Or sometimes it's just kind of like my first Supergirl cosplay where I just see fabric for cheap and I just monopolize on it.
That's totally understandable. And I like that you're willing to do like to jump in for the collabs, because I've talked with a number of people, and sometimes it's like one of those things where they're like, they're kind of iffy on it, because if they're not connecting with the character, they're like, it's not something that they're into.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have met a few people like that as well, and completely understandable. Like, I get it. I just really like collabs, and I really have enjoyed the process of making cosplay. I kind of dabbled a little bit in commission work, not for very long, but just for a few like close family and friends. And if you're someone who only makes cosplay if you relate to the character, you can't really do commission work, because that's making a cosplay for like a character you don't know, and then you're not even gonna wear it. So I guess I'm just wired in a certain way where I just love the journey. I love the process. And as long as, it's a character I can, reasonably see myself cosplaying, and it's something I can put together without my wheelchair eating it, then I'm usually pretty happy to do, whatever collabs with my friends too. And that's honestly where a lot of my cosplays come from, is just people looking for characters for a collab.
With all the characters that you've done, do you have any favorites where you're like, dang, like that was my best costume that I've done, the best cosplay that I've ever made?
I feel like I answer Supergirl to like all these cosplay questions, but like honestly, Supergirl is still one of my favorites. I just feel so like strong and empowered as Supergirl, and clearly I like her enough to make 5 different costumes for her, whatever. And she's just been kind of like a staple in my cosplay wardrobe. I've made a new Supergirl costume pretty much every year, and she's just so much fun to cosplay. Everyone recognizes Supergirl. Everyone loves Supergirl. I love Supergirl. Like, it's great, and I think she's probably still my favorite. I feel like by now I should have moved on to a different favorite, but I just keep making different versions of Supergirl, and then she's still my favorite.
As long as they keep making comics with Supergirl and new costumes, like, why not make them?
Yeah, and like Supergirl has been out for like a while. Like, there have been Supergirl comics for a while, so I got so many costumes to choose from. Like, I'm never gonna run out.
Exactly. Why go do something else when you got Supergirl? Like,
exactly.
Why watch new TV shows when you have, your trusty fallbacks to watch? It's the same.
Yeah. Why bother if I can just watch Kipo a 3rd time or a 4th time? Like, why try things that are new?
Now, with cosplayers, and we joke about like, just doing Supergirl forever, but all cosplayers have a list of like the ones that they want to work on, like, or cosplays that are on their list. Do you have a list for this year of cosplays that you're like either going to work on or that you'd like to?
I did. I really did have a list, and I usually do, but I was in a car crash pretty recently going up to SakuraCon, and that kind of like changed my plans after a month of recovering from whiplash. So right now the plans are blank. I can write whatever I want in these plans because there are no plans. So, any other time I would have plans, but now it's a blank slate and I get to choose my own destiny.
Dun dun dun.
Yep. Can be anything. What am I making next week? I don't know. Stay tuned to find out, because I have no clue, honestly.
Stay tuned to Colleen on Instagram and see what she's doing.
Yeah, let me know, because I truly do not know what I'm going to be making this year. I'm probably just going to wait until someone wants to do a cosplay group for KiboriCon in November, and then I'll just jump on that. That's kind of my current game plan.
Okay. Now, for people that have listened to this episode, Colleen, and they're like, you know what, dang, I need to follow Colleen and see what she's up to, or see what she's making, or, you know, go back on the history and check out the stuff that you've been doing. What are the best places to check you, or what are the best places to find you?
So I am on YouTube as Colleen Cosplay. That's where I really just pour my heart and soul into that website. So you can find me on YouTube, and I'm also on Instagram as Colleen_cosplay. So it's those two main places. I probably share way too much on the I probably share way too much of myself on the internet in my Instagram stories, so you also can be a part of that. But yeah, just those two places.
Well, Colleen, I'll have the links to the YouTube and the Instagram on the show notes and on the Facebook page and website. So that way, if you're listening and you want to follow Colleen, or, you know, take a look at her stuff, or message about Kipo or Supergirl, or just, you know, whatever, go give her a follow. I know that the Instagram algorithms are never like wonderful and fun, so make sure that, you know, you comment or like or share the stuff, and, you know, do the thing, because everyone needs to know more about what Colleen's doing. And Colleen, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come and talk with me and hang out and talk fandom.
Of course, there's always time in my schedule to talk about Kipo. Don't you worry about that.
Thank you for listening to Tales from the Fandom. Subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/talesfromthefandom to see photos, links, leave feedback, and check out upcoming guests. If you'd like to be a guest, email David at talesfromthefandom@gmail.com.